Welcome to Construction Champions Podcast, where we are burning the house down and rebuilding it twice a week. I'm your host, Rod Nussbaum, and I am here to help you become the champion that you're meant to be. Along with our amazing guests along the way, we will provide you with the resources, the latest and greatest. You will sit down with disruptors in the construction industry. And my goal from day one has always been to change the mindset around the construction industry. No more where we let the 3% of bad apes dictate the entire reputation of Nussbaum. You tune in because we bring fire guests, and we're here to change the mindset around the construction industry. It's like I say, when we burn that house down, we're not just building it down. We're not just burning it down for no reason at all. We're burning it down so we can rebuild it. Whether it's your business, your relationships, your family, whatever is needed for you to be that construction champion that you're meant to be, we're here to get it fixed today. Rico, it is great to have you here with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This is exciting.
Awesome, man. Well, I'm excited for our conversation, but for all the construction champions out there, that would be pretty amazing if they didn't know who you are, but just give us your rundown, your story. What got you here to today?
Yeah, so I've been in the construction industry since I would say like just turning 20. Actually started at Roto-Rooter doing emergency restoration, excavation, and plumbing. Did that for a few years. In fact, half of the paperwork that was created and the SOPs that were created, I did them in my young 20s, and now it's used nationwide, which, you're going to be the first one to hear this, but there might be a pretty big deal between myself and Roto-Rooter. So that's could be a future announcement. But I've been in Colorado for about 7, I think going on to 8 years. I've been in the construction space for a long time, emergency restoration, so I deal with insurance as well. Like everyone else's story, like I work for all these people. I brought in millions. They never paid me. I get pissed. I start my own company. And then when I started my own company out here in Colorado, I just blew up. I think we did 10 million our first year, and that's just what myself and one other person. So I've went through hell and back, 1,000 times. You say like, the burning down the house thing. I mean, the majority of my knowledge is legitimately the fire side of insurance claims. So I'm glad you kind of already touched base on that. But yeah, been originally from Pittsburgh, been in Colorado for 7, 8 years. I do have 4 shows on HGTV. Construction design based. My main show is Rico to the Rescue. I literally go after contractors that screw over homeowners. So it's very difficult. I'm definitely starting from the bottom going up, but I find a lot of unique ways to get the money back, get money from the contractor, and get them back in their house.
Awesome, man. Well, I love what you're doing. I think you encompass what a construction champion is, and you're out there doing the same thing we talk about on here. It's just changing the narrative around the construction industry. We don't have to let the bad eggs control the reputation for the industry if we just take control of it. So I'm super excited to ask you the $1 million question, and that is, what makes a construction champion?
That's a great question. I think, and I'm noticing this more now than ever before, everyone assumes it's sales. I think we could all sell pretty well. Strong handshake, America. I've been doing this 20 years. Those are things that homeowners like to hear, right? And I love it. But I've noticed the biggest thing now in our industry more than ever is you don't reach the potential of your goals. You actually go down to the SOPs, like your actual systems that are in place. That's where a lot of contractors screw up, because I know people that are like phenomenal tradesmen that could build you a gorgeous kitchen and gorgeous tile and beautiful drywall and doing flooring and all this kind of stuff, but they don't know how to manage their time, their money, their scheduling. And those are the things that actually like kill contractors, is not having a process in place, a hierarchy for the homeowners to call. Like, hey, if shit hits the fan, call this person. If it's pretty bad, call this person. If it's about permitting, this person will update you. And having those systems in place actually help you not only make a job go from 9 months to 6 months, which saves you money, because we all got to pay our mortgage. We all got to pay for our kids' sports. We all got to pay for all this kind of stuff. And if a project goes 3, 4, 5 months longer than it should, then it just ate all of our profits. And then you start, saying, why am I in this industry? And it is because you don't have systems in place, which is one of the biggest things that I've noticed. Like, have a strong contract to protect your business. Have a process that is like homeowner responsibility versus your responsibility, and then put timestamps. Like, use a CRM. Actually use a CRM, because I know us as contractors, trust me, like I was the same way. I like to just whale hunt. I like to sell. I like to close the deals and then pray that my GCs and their subs do a good job. And of course, that's never the place, because everyone's all over there, all over. So having systems in place is honestly the one thing all contractors need to focus on now more than ever. Um, as we all work very hard, I know that once you collect a good check, you want to do what we all do. We want that new 2022, 24 Corvette. We feel like we deserve it. We want the boat. And honestly, like, the first, anytime you have like an extra $10,000 to spend, legitimately pay people to get an SOP in place, pay lawyers to look through your contract. Those things are just so important, because it only takes one Karen, whether you're right or wrong, to really cause a rift in your process and in your company. Unless, God forbid, you get sued, and you go through this whole thing. And if you don't have things in place, then it really kills your company, and your company could be doing well. But what happens when someone wants to take, 100K and sue you for 100K for no reason? And then here we are, right? So having those things in place are things that I've gone through. Like, I've done everything the right way, and there's still going to be problems. So I would say the $1 million question, or the $1 million answer to the question, would be definitely having those things in place. Because if you don't, you're fucked.
I love that, because we hear it all the time, but I love how your answer is. We were downplay to that. Like, you can be the greatest, you can be amazing at this stuff, but like, you're only going to be as good as your SOPs will ever let you be. And I don't think we talk about that enough.
Yep.
I love your getting shit done on time. Like, I got this old time builder that is at the gym every morning where I'm at. We talk about it all the time. Is like, these projects around us just take wait. Like, what are these people doing? Because they can't be making money because they're on projects too long. Like,
Yeah.
it's just not acceptable.
Yeah. Honestly, like, less is more. I definitely sold way more than my company can produce. And everyone talks about sales, 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 sales. Give me another job, give me another job. That's not necessarily a good thing when you don't have systems in place. I like to take on less work and have my guys hyper focus on a handful of jobs versus sell 20 jobs. And for someone that's like, for my subs that aren't used to doing 20 different jobs, 20 different locations, it really messes things up. So I actually slowed everything down, because my show, I go after contractors that screw people over. I had a GC that did the same thing to me. I was finishing 10 jobs. I was kind of like exiting him out, and all jobs got finished. They all looked great, but he never paid the subcontractor their last third. We're talking about drywall, MEPs, mechanical, electrical, plumbing. On 10 projects, they all didn't get paid their last third. So they were going to put liens on every single house. And of course, it's my name, my company. I would have to, I mean, they could all take me to court, and I would lose every single one. And it would have been horrible. So, like, a lot of the money I made in 2020, which is a good amount, I wrote those checks all over again, because I didn't have conditional lien waiver signed. Something as simple as that would have prevented all those liens. But again, you don't know until shit hits the fan, and then you have to, hopefully recover. I was very lucky that I didn't spend a lot of the money that I made, so I was able to recover, keep my good reputation, keep selling, move on. But I know a lot of contractors that wouldn't be able to write that check. So the idea is to prevent those things from happening to begin with, so you don't have to learn that lesson.
Yeah, we can get ourselves in some predicaments, and we're kind of shooting ourselves in the foot, is what I
Yeah.
see. Like you said, like, you had the resources, but it was because you were smart
Mhm.
with the resource, what you had done, and it never, no matter how good you set something up, somebody could
Right.
possibly find a loophole in there. And you have
Exactly.
to be prepared for that. And I think,
Exactly.
like, guys need to focus on that, because if you have nothing set up and you're just spending it, like, it's coming in, you have the boat, the Corvette, all of this stuff,
Hmm.
and you're not spending anything on what protects us as a company, or what
100%.
separates us, I mean, the fire is about to happen. Whether you want to burn it down and make it right, it's going to get burnt to the ground.
Yeah, big time. And, honestly, like communication, like a lot of homeowners are still stuck in the good old days, right? The handshake days, the days where it's like you list the price of 200K to do whatever type of renovation, and they make you stick to that number. But contractors don't have the conversation of inflation rates. Hey, you want my best subs on here? I want my best subs on here. So it's good. They might charge more for them to like, do it quicker, this and that. You have to have these conversations of like milestones, things that could happen. Like, hey, we might do demo, but find out there's asbestos. Well, we were going to charge you $5,500 for demo, but asbestos is highly regulated in Colorado, and you're looking at $35K to mitigate that properly and get it cleared. All of a sudden, they're pissed off at you, right? So as you know, we're human, and we may know a lot, but we have to make sure we have these conversations with the homeowner and stop talking to them. Like if you do talk to them, reiterate it in an email. Like every single thing I do is tracked. Every conversation I have on site over the phone, I reiterate it and send it on email. You need to have proof of all your communication, because a homeowner be like, well, you never said that. And they're like, yeah, I did. And they're like, well, we're going to see you anyways. So here we go. So it sucks that we kind of have to be logistical like that. Cause I enjoy just being the guy, putting people together, handshake deals, things go smooth. But after COVID, nothing went smooth. You know what I mean? GCs were pricing things out pre-pandemic pricing. And then the subcontractors started charging more, and the GC realized they're doing it for free. And then all of a sudden, midway, they're like, hey, it's going to cost an extra 40 to 50K. And then the homeowners are like, what the hell are you talking about? We agreed on this. And that happened everywhere. I mean, there's a reason I got like 100,000 emails from everywhere in the country and even in Europe of people that are going through this same scenario. And what could have prevented this? A conversation. Say like, hey, these things may come up and these things will cost this much money, just so you know. Have the conversation first. I think it's better to be honest and have a conversation with a homeowner and they say no, versus you lie to get the job and then you pray that everything goes smoothly. And a lot of the times it doesn't anymore. And again, these homeowners, they're still in the whole, like, can I get a kitchen done for 30K? You got to tell them like, hey, did you complain when your house went from 295,000 to 630,000 overnight? That seemed right, correct? That seemed about right. But yet when a contractor wants, $110,000 to do a whole kitchen, we're insane and we're being, money hungry, all this kind of stuff. But you could just say like, hey, you upgrade this kitchen 120K, that's adding even more value to your house. It's not like I'm taking all the money and running. You're actually adding value to the house in a market that's doing very well. So you have to you kind of have to speak in a different language now than the good old days. And again, have those systems in place and that communication kind of all in one spot. I actually got reached out to create an app. And I don't care if anyone hears this and wants to do it themselves too, but they reached out to me to create an app where the homeowner and the contractor go into the app. You could pay invoices, you could track communication, everything goes into the one app. There's like homeowner responsibilities, and it'll say like, hey, the homeowner uploaded this, and it sends it straight to the contractor, time-stamped. It has the work authorization time-stamped, put in their sign. It has like reminders for like permit updates, because I know a lot of contractors, to buy time, we say, hey, we're still waiting on the permit, but really we haven't touched shit. Don't like, you know what I mean? Come on, like, I know the tricks. They were used on me before I got smarter, but things like that communication and having it all in one place, things need to be more streamlined, especially with the invoicing and this and, negotiating. It's like, are we putting the money into an escrow and having the bank release the funds? Or are we doing this old school handshake style? Like, these are all things that sucks. Like, this sucks, right? Like, it sucks that we have to do this, but you are a business. Like, if you're taking care of your family, you got to make sure that you don't get sued, that your business doesn't go down over something logistical. So, and I've seen it. I've seen companies lose everything because of just verbiage on the work authorization that wasn't there. The little things like this, and also communicating with the homeowners that the prices are going up. things might happen. It might cost a little bit more. And then send it to them in an email. Hey, great. Hey, Mrs. Jones, great talking to you. Just to let you know, this is going to take this long, this long, this long. These are some hiccups that we might come across, but if they do, we'll let you know. We'll talk about it together, and then we'll move forward with a good plan. Like, I think a lot of contractors don't like to have those conversations, but they're so necessary. And a lot of good contractors out there maybe have gotten away with it, but this day and age, those handshake days are over.
I mean, you're so a lot to unpack there.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. So I built that software. For all listeners know that that's what I do now is that, and there are a lot of the reasons why
Love that.
exactly what you're talking about, I built for the same reasons. But I'm a very proactive communicator. And I truly believe, like, I cannot, this is the one thing that I try to just beat into people's heads is like, why are you so afraid to have these conversations beforehand? Like, what I understand, they feel like they got the job to lose, but at the same time, you have the job to win by being willing to say, hey, here's the stuff we could run into. And this is what it looks like if we run into that stuff.
Exactly.
And people are afraid to have that, but in my that's how I used to always do it because I didn't want to have I didn't want to have the damn conversations afterwards. I would
Right.
rather have it proactively than get my ass chewed on the back end.
Yep.
And I don't like there's this misconception in the construction industry where we should just, like you said, just do whatever on the front end and pray, let the stress get to us instead, and just take the ass chewing if it happens. And we have to change that because it doesn't do the customer any good. It doesn't do your business any good. All it does is
Yep.
drains money from everybody.
Yeah. And if you're a bad person and vindictive and are actually stealing from people, that's what they're going to assume when you don't answer the phone. They're going to assume the worst when you don't answer the phone. If you are doing the right thing, answer the phone. Like honestly, like just understand that you're going to spend 100 to 200 hours a year being somebody's therapist. It comes with the territory, just like a bartender. You're going to have to let them vent, let them get it out, and then create a solution, be like, hey, these are our options. I want to stick with this. The last thing I want to do is sue you guys and you guys sue me. And then you're gonna have to spend money on a lawyer to be, let's just say, correct. So let's just try to figure things out and smooth things out. And again, it just comes with answering the phone. Everyone, like when I text people and call people that don't answer, don't respond, it's because they've screwed me over, right? They don't want to have a conversation with me. They don't want to have that confrontation because they know they made a mistake. But if your intentions are pure and you are trying to build a good reputation and do things very well, answer the phone. And that communication is what's going to get that homeowner to be like, hey, it took a little bit longer, but I'm going to say right now, every single time I texted or called them, they answered the phone, they helped it out, we got the job done, but they never made me feel like they were going to ghost. Which again, like contractors are the new used car salesmen because during the pandemic, so many homeowners got screwed over, and all of us as contractors have to do a better job moving forward in this industry, and focus on our reputation. And also, like homeowners are asking about the resume since COVID, not what you did 7, 10 years ago. And the good heydays where everything was cheaper, everyone got paid well, the margins were beautiful, permitting was like super quick compared to COVID when there was no permitting was like a year plus. So things like that, like you have to, super focus on now more than ever. Get people now to love what you're doing now because homeowners know there was a good heyday. They want to know that you're doing actual good work now when it's more difficult. So like those things, you have to work even harder to keep that reputation.
Yeah, it's a crazy time in the construction industry. It really, like a lot of the stuff that we talk about being where you should be at and what you should be do to me in most businesses is table stakes. But for some reason in construction, it's just kind of like it's just kind of how we've always like the handshake deal. Like we run into that all the time. Well, hey, it's just this is how we've always done it. We're just going to do a handshake, and
Yep.
hopefully we come out the other side of this. The homeowner's happy. We had the project turns out good for us, and unfortunately, we know how that stuff is. It doesn't
Mhm.
matter how good of a relationship. It's about just doing the stuff how it should appropriately be done along the way to set you up for success and set your
Yeah.
customer up for success in the long term.
Right.
It's about protection on both sides.
Exactly. I mean, you do the handshake deal, I guess there's less liability, right? You could screw the homeowner over. They can't really sue for anything because there's no contract. But the homeowner could do the same thing with you and hold on to the last check of $30,000 and never pay you. And that's your money, right? You paid all your guys out. That's the money for you, and that person just feels like not paying. So it's like, there's the horrible things that happen without a contract. No bueno. Again, those days are over. You got to protect yourself now. And honestly, you're protecting your livelihood, your family. Because now more than ever, contractors are just falling by the wayside.
They definitely are. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
we're going to enter into a phase here where we're going to see some definite consolidation because of what you're saying. They're on it now. And
Hmm.
where you have a lot of people that operate just kind of in the lower tiers, you have mid tiers and then you have the upper tiers. It's going to start to become the big upper tiers. Who are the main players in a marketplace? Then you have that mid tier, but all of the people that feed at that lower tier, I think we're going to start to see that just go away. That realm of
Yeah.
construction, it's just not going to exist anymore.
Yep. Yeah, I can't find anyone that'll take on a job that's smaller than 30K. Can't do it. Can't do it. Even if I give them like a huge shout out in front of my friends that are all 100 millionaires, they just still don't want to do a 20, $30,000 job. So like finding those people, like anyone that gets into that, like, 50K and less, and they do a phenomenal job, they will clean house. They will clean house out here. And we have to start getting those trades back. We gotta like protect the contractors more. We gotta make sure homeowners feel better. They have to have their systems in place. I'll say that probably like 10 more times. But once you do that, my gosh, I'll give you 50 jobs. If there's anyone listening and you guys are phenomenal and you guys take jobs that are less than 50K, I can literally feed you for the next 10 years. And it's unfortunate because a lot of trades are leaving. Even Roto-Rooter was mentioning like, they're the workforce is dwindling. It's like everyone wants to be like some YouTuber or influencer versus a tradesman. But like I'm gonna tell you right now, AI is not gonna take over excavation, plumbing, electrical. It's not going to take any of that stuff over anytime soon. So it's good trade. It's good to get into those trades. Give a shit about the trades. Really learn. And build that business because there's so much need for it. Like there's so much need. You could be hyper successful. Just knowing your stuff. And I think a lot of the guys that are old school that just want to do the handshake stuff, they don't know how to adapt to kind of like the new age of things. And those are the people that are kind of like retiring or handing it to their kid and then moving on.
Yeah, yeah, because we have a lot of that happening on as well as where there's second generation. It's the construction industry is at a point where I mean I've been around construction for a while now. And, it's at a point where the future is really in our hands and what we go make it to be. Like
Mhm.
technology is leap and bounds over all kinds of stuff. But at the end of the day, the construction industry is still going to be the construction industry. It's probably
Yep.
going to be a lot more efficient with technology and some of the stuff that comes out there. From a manual labor perspective, we might be able to bring some of that down on the what it actually does on our bodies. But it's still going to take the minds that understand how to go into a house and remodel it. Like
Right.
that, there's a
Exactly.
lot of unknowns in that word. It's not like building a house. And with the way the housing market's going, more and more people, same thing as what we found during the pandemic, are investing into the houses they're in, doing remodels or additions to the places they already reside instead of building newer houses.
Yep. Yep. It's they say location, location, location. So, certain areas like Denver, it's you see a house that coming from PA, I would pay 120K for it, and it costs $495,000 here. And then if you invest maybe 150K, 200K into it, let's just say you're 600K in, you could probably sell it for like 8, 9, like 890,000. Like it's just wild. The profit margins that a lot of people do in the reno side. but now places outside of Denver are expanding like crazy. And again, people are just scared of those new builds. You know what I mean? Again, there's more people that could do like good reno work out here just because people are still kind of like back and forth. I guess the quality of a lot of the houses that could be pushed out aren't there anymore. So they're just starting to say like, all right, you know what? I'd rather invest into my own house.
Yeah, and there's a lot of stuff around just the quality of product through the years, the lumber, just stuff that's being used to build a newer house. If you look at a house that was built in the 80s or 90s,
Oh yeah.
they're saying just the construction itself and the materials that were used are a lot better than what they're currently using to build houses.
Oh yeah. Yep. Big time. So where is it that you're at? Like where you physically reside?
I am in Emerald Isle, North Carolina.
What's the market like in North Carolina? Is it like crazy? Is it still like stable?
Yeah, no, I would say crazy, but not. Like there's
Hmm.
houses on the market, don't stay on the market. Everything is continuously going up. I live all the way out by the ocean, so
Oh,
it,
that's cool.
it's I would say a comparable to market like to like a Denver or something
Okay.
where it's good. Just the nature of the area is going to help sustain the real estate market long.
Right.
And I would say if everything else starts falling off, all market will last longer here just because there's a scarcity of inventory. There's only so many houses in this area. And pretty much all the vacant lots are currently having houses built on them. So it's basically now becoming the houses that are here is what's going to be here. Either you're buying, bulldozing, and building, or you're buying somewhere and living in that, or a lot of stuff's rental properties around where I'm
Yeah.
at as well. So the market has just continued to go up around here.
Yeah. I've so there was a meeting I was in not too long ago. I won't mention names because it's like scary. So they're planning on building these like triplexes, quadplexes where it's like very, the soundproof. It's like it's really nice. They have like the heated floors, heated towel racks, very like modernized. Like millennials would love it, younger generation will love it. And what they're planning on doing is like, let's say rent is on average $2,300 out here in Denver surrounding, if not more. They are going to start renting those things out for like 1,600 for 2 bedroom, 2 bath. And you're thinking like, holy smokes, this is like phenomenal. One, they want just renters. They don't want people to own houses. So like just put that in the back of your mind, like invest into real estate, renovate. Own your own land because again, it's true what they say, like they want you to own nothing and love it, whatever. But why they're charging so little is because they're going to be putting sensors throughout these quadplexes. And you think your phone knows you. Your phone knows you better than your wife or anyone else. And, Google probably knows everything about you also, but they're putting sensors inside these houses, like your doggy door. It'll actually show you how many times a dog comes in and out, and it'll say like, oh, according to your the type of dog that you have, it might have anxiety, and you'd like to we suggest you get like Purina CBD food or whatever. So like how long you like run the water, all this kind of crazy stuff. Like if you open the blinds, how often you open the door, how often you charge your Tesla, like all this kind of crazy stuff. So like the future could be scary if you don't take care of, being invested in real estate on your own, because these companies will undercut a lot and you're going to have absolutely no privacy forever, right? Because it's too good of a deal. $1,600 for 2 bedroom, 2 bath with all the amenities and like a golf simulator and a pool table and all that kind of stuff. It's hard to not do that. So I think the education of homeowners and contractors, we need to keep pushing construction of our own properties, because things like that are going to come around, and then who knows what the future is going to look like at that point.
Yeah, for everybody involved. You have home ownership going to nothing then. And
Mm-hmm.
without home, I mean, that means the construction industry becomes who is involved with who situation at that point in
Yeah.
time. And if you're not in that circle, you're not going to be the one doing the building. And if no one
Yeah.
owns any houses,
Yeah.
It can be. I agree 100%. This is why we have to be out there doing the right thing, educating people on everything that's going around, why you should invest in this house, or why you should
Mm-hmm.
renovations, or if you're going to build, like why you should build and invest in having this instead of going and renting someplace for $1,600 a month. It sounds like it comes with a lot more headaches than odds and ends long term.
Oh yeah. Yep. Big
And
time.
plus, your time you're going to lose. Like, what's the market going to do in a 12-month lease there? Because I don't see the market because of what you just said. Is there's companies out there that are just, it doesn't matter what happens with the market. The number I think people need to watch is at 30 to 40% month over month deals are being done in all cash. So
Mhm.
that tells you who's buying almost half the houses on a monthly basis isn't your typical family.
Right.
There's big investments that are happening into single family residence, and they'll be forever off the market.
Yep, correct. And that's, that's and the thing is, I think we all kind of know it, right? So we have to, like, again, homeowners need to, there's contractors and homeowners. Contractors need to regain the trust. Homeowners need to understand how the process goes. And I feel like once we get those two things to coincide, it'll be another boom again. But everyone's scared, right? They all they hear is horror stories. So their level of confidence is dwindling, and of course, the big corporations that are doing this whole, buying everything and renting it forever, they're taking advantage of that mindset. So again, it's on us as contractors to get our shit together and then put it together with homeowners that have that level of trust. Or again, like your CRM system or POS system, something that makes it super easy for both sides. So then the contractors get paid faster, homeowners feel a lot better, and things can move forward faster.
Awesome, man. I love it. We're on the same page on a lot of things. And it's been absolutely amazing, man. I
Yeah.
know you're super busy.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Yeah.
taking the time and being on the show.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. This was fun.
So for all the listeners out there, all the champions that are listening, if they wanted to connect with you, follow you, learn more about what you got going on, and maybe they're in the Denver area and they want to
Yeah.
work for you, where's the best place for them to do that?
So the best way to reach out to me is literally just my website. It's Rico Leon, Leon.com. That shows you pretty much everything I'm in, which is like the real estate out here, the construction, cybersecurity. I'm heavily involved in as well, mostly because I had a company that a friend of mine, he owned a multi-million dollar company. He got hacked, and because he got hacked, so did Target, because he was part of their TPA system, and he lost his business like that due to a hack. And now contractors are getting targeted more now than ever, because what happens if you're like, hey Fred, I really need an invoice, you need to send this money to this thing right now or we're going to get sued, da 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 da. Hackers are starting to hack construction companies because those guys aren't thinking about phishing or thinking about whatever. They see who you communicate with, who does the invoicing, and then do fake accounts. It's ask for the money, and then it's a shell corporation in Bangladesh or something. So like I'm heavy into the cybersecurity side as well because of the things I'm seeing in our industry, which is scary. But I digress. But yeah, RicoLeon.com is definitely the website to reach out to me for anything in Colorado for sure.
Awesome, man. Once again, thank you for taking the time to be on the show.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
All right, construction champions, another episode in the bag. Well, once again, we talk about the fundamentals, the SOPs, having your shit together before you even show up at the homeowner's house. I know this sounds like it should be low-hanging fruit, but there's a reason why this is a repetitive conversation that we have. Why it keeps coming up. Rico deals with this stuff all the time. Watch his show. This is the stuff he goes in and fixes is because the contractor didn't have their shit together. And then next thing they blow up a job and then they disappear because they're scared. They don't want to face the reality that they didn't have their shit together, which is two wrongs that don't make it right. We all should know that at this point in time. But what I found interesting is the conversation around the handshake deals and just this is how we've always done it. We're the construction industry is at an inflection point. I know I've said on here before when I was out in Vegas at the IBS show at the beginning of the year, I kept hearing older contractors and builders making reference to, I don't use any technology, I don't do anything, but I feel like if I don't start, I'm not going to be able to keep up. I'm going to be just taken out of the market. My competition's going to eat me alive. And I think that speaks a lot into the fact of the handshake deal and where we are as an industry and what our customers are expecting as well. What does the homeowner expect out of us? I think it's an amazing thing to go reflect on and just think about, how vulnerable are you? Because like Rico said, that last check that doesn't come, that's typically your profit. That's typically what you're taking home after everybody's already paid. And if you're not in a position to protect that, you're really doing yourself a disservice. Like this is your own thing. Like this is your own thing that you're doing a disservice to yourself. So